Hello, this is going to be part 2 to my Edison 3x3 review. Originally, I wasn't going to have a part 2. I mean, I pretty much covered most of it in part 1, but I've had the Edison Cube for a couple of months now. And I've noticed some things about it that I forgot to mention or didn't know at the time that I needed to add to the review. So I might repeat some stuff from part 1 on accident, but I mean, most of this stuff is brand new. Okay, so let's get down to the main part of it. The first thing is I want to say some of the bad things about the cube. Over time, what's going to happen is the screws will start to or not the screws, the springs, they'll start to kind of make noise, like when you go back and forth, they'll be like, you know, and you might hear that in Rubik's spring cubes and stuff like that. But actually what's happening is the screw itself, the spring, sorry, not the screw, the spring is becoming deformed, and it's not circular anymore. So normally it can move perfectly because it's circular, but it starts to become like ovalish, and so what it does is since it's ovalish, it grinds against like the mold that the main part of the cap is made out of. So that's what you get. You get that little kind of grinding sound when you move the piece. Now, this can be solved by taking the center cap and the mold where the screw goes in, kind of maybe sanding a little bit, you know, maybe with a file, a little bit of that part down a little bit. Also, soaking it in silicone also works very well. Not necessarily like getting a tub and like dipping it in there. It's a little ridiculous. But if you take that rounded part and you apply silicone and you kind of turn the piece and just kind of spray silicone around in it, it will improve a lot. It'll still kind of make that noise, but it'll stop it from like feeling bad. You'll notice it when you start feeling your cube behave strangely. Well, the noise is just one of it, but also like if you move forward, like a regular move versus like a prime move, one of them will feel really, really smooth and the other one will feel really stiff. And also you might feel like it's clicking, like it's like click, 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 and that at that point that's probably because of the screw. Now, I know this might drive you away, like, hey, I don't want a cube that has bad screws and springs, but you know, the spring is, as long as you silicone both of them and you can sand it a little bit, it'll work. Besides, I mean, the Edison more than makes up for that. And it only happens after you've had it for a while, and if you use it constantly. This is my main speed cube. I solve this all the time. So, I mean, I put it through a lot of wear and tear. So, obviously, it's going to happen. Just like anything. I mean, there's always wear and tear. But that's just something you should know, that there is the possibility that the springs could become deformed and therefore grind against the center cap. So, you are going to have to fix that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I said a lot in the first video about how smooth it was and how well it cut corners and stuff like that. And I have figured out why. I didn't notice this until I was actually fixing the center cap problem. And I noticed something really, really, really cool. And I want to show that. Now, most center caps, or most pieces anyway, are like this one. This is my Yushin cube. And you'll notice that the center piece is rounded. So it's just pretty, you know, it's just round all the way around so the pieces can move really smoothly around it. This is my new type A, and it has square center, like this area right here, it's square. So you get the pieces kind of lock into place with that flat edge. Like the edge piece is flat here, and this part is flat. So it'll kind of lock in place. But you sacrifice some of the smoothness because of the fact that whenever it turns, it has to like kind of go around the corner and then kind of lock into place. So there's a moment of kind of a skipping motion where it doesn't have a smooth rotation. It kind of jerks from side to side. So the Yushin, the reason it's so smooth and the reason it cuts corners so well and stays really strong and doesn't lock up is because it has the best of both worlds. I'll try to give you a good angle on it. If you look closely, I'll try to get a light. Maybe I can get like a really, really bright light on it. But you might be able to see that. Probably not. What happens is the Edison cube has little like L's in it, if you have your own cube, look at them. Look on the underside of the center cap. Don't look at this one. I'm looking at this one right here. And on the underside of the center cap, you might be able to see some kind of like little L shape. And what that is it's actually a locking mechanism. And that L shape is matched perfectly to the edge. So what happens is, as the cube, or as the piece rotates around, it locks in between the two little tick marks. Like you'll have an L here and an L here, and the edge will lock right in between the two L's like that. So that's why it holds the structure so well, and it doesn't lock up, because it has that locking mechanism that keeps the pieces from crunching against each other. Also, in the first video, you'll notice when I do the flicks, they line up like almost perfectly with the center. That's because they're locking in to this centerpiece. You're flicking it, and it's moving, and it locks into place, and it moves and it locks into place. Now, these are really, really small, like the little L's. They're really small, so they don't like affect the cube a lot. Like, it's not like it's drastic, like you know when you're in a car, like you hit a speed bump, you know, that's really drastic. It's like boom. But these aren't. They're very subtle, and they're just, you know, they're just kind of there to like slightly lock it into place. Now the rest of the piece is actually smooth, and that's why the piece is so smooth, because you can rotate it freely around that circular center, and it'll rotate really, really smoothly, and it won't, you know, have that skipping problem or that jerking motion that the Type A does. But because of the fact that it has that locking mechanism, it doesn't have a lot of the problems that a lot of the smoother, the rounded ones, like the Yushin, for example. This cube, like, you have a lot of lockups because the pieces don't align very well. That's how lockups are created, is the pieces won't be on alignment. But because of this locking mechanism, it keeps all the pieces in alignment, and this circular centerpiece keeps all the pieces smooth. So that's basically why the Edison cube is like the best cube on the market, is because of the fact that it has that smooth center, which keeps it nice and fast, but also has that locking mechanism, which keeps it from cutting or it allows it to cut corners, but mainly it keeps it from locking up, which is, for me personally, I want a cube that doesn't lock up. I don't like fast cubes if they're going to get stuck. There's no point in moving 100 miles an hour if you're going to slam on the brakes every 2 seconds. You know, I'd rather just go 50 miles an hour or 70, you know, whatever. Who cares? You get the idea. But I just thought I'd mention that because, you know, that's why the Edison is so smooth, is because of that fact right there. These centerpieces are the best centerpieces you'll find on any cube out there. They're the best. Now, again, you can kind of hear the screw. Maybe you can hear that. That's the spring kind of getting, you know. And that's just because of the fact that it's, you know, misshapen. But those are the two main things I wanted to add to the review, is that you could have a problem with the springs, and I just wanted to mention why the cube is so fast, is because of the centerpieces. So anyway, that's just a short little addition. I know it was kind of long. I kind of dragged it out a little bit, but that was an addition to the original part 1 video. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, at least look at some of my other material. I have a lot of stuff on cubing, you know, over 100 videos. And I would really love to have some more subscribers. So if you guys would do that, that would be great. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.